Hey guys, going back to another video, and today I'm going to be predicting the standings for each team in the NBA next season. So starting off in the Western Conference, we're going to start at the bottom, work our way up to the top, and at the bottom of the Western Conference next season, I think it's going to be the Utah Jazz. Now this is probably pretty obvious. The Utah Jazz have been bad for many years. They're not getting any better because of an Ace Bailey that they added. He doesn't even want to be there, honestly, so they went 17-65 last season. Let's say they go up to what? 20-62? I think 19-63 sounds a bit better, a bit more accurate. If they do better than that, I wouldn't be surprised. Last season, Taylor Hendricks was basically out all season because of that really bad... What even happened? His bone broke, I think, in the middle of a game. It was really pretty bad. They did bring in Yusuf Nurkic, which is... It's Yusuf Nurkic. I think the main point of interest for their next season is going to be Ace Bailey. And maybe Lauri Markkanen will play a bit more than he did last season because, yeah, they were tanking. And they ended up with Ace Bailey. Won 17 games and ended up with Ace Bailey at number 5. So moving up in the West, we're going to go to the 14th spot, and I think this is going to go to the New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, they went 21-61. Last season, Zion did play quite a few games. He did better than he normally does. And in those games, he did pretty freaking good. If he can stay healthy, I still believe in Zion. I still believe in you, Zion. But, gotta stay healthy. They did bring in Jordan Poole. I'm excited to see how he fits there. Instead of having CJ McCollum, they're gonna have Jordan Poole. Now, Jordan Poole and Zion, if we're in, like, what, 2022? They're winning a championship. Yves Missi going into his second season. He was a really good center for the Pelicans last year. Excited to see Trey Murphy back. He did really good last season. Another new addition is Kevon Looney from the Golden State Warriors. And, yeah, I think he could be pretty good over there. Alright, he'll help the team out. Definitely help the team out a little bit. I mean, they're looking like a pretty decent team next season, but it's the Western Conference. They don't stand a chance. They recently drafted Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma. Another guard, but can never go wrong with 6 or 7 guards. And they also drafted Derek Queen. He did really good in the Summer League. He had a double-double every single game that he played. And, yeah, I think could also be a good center. So that center rotation is looking really nice with Kevon Looney, Yves Missi, and Derek Queen. It's a pretty nice rotation. I predict them to win somewhere around like 28, 29 games, maybe even 30. If they had 30, that would be really, really nice. But it's the Western Conference. Up next at the 13th spot in the Western Conference, I have the Phoenix Suns. They went 36-46 last season with the help of Kevin Durant. And now that Kevin Durant has moved on over to Houston, They brought in Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks in that trade. On draft night, they actually traded for Mark Williams from the Hornets, which is a great pickup. Mark Williams is actually really good. They also brought in Nick Richards, another player from the Hornets. They also got Jared Butler out of free agency from the 76ers. They also picked up Nigel Hayes out of, I don't even know where, honestly. He was playing in Europe somewhere, I think. They drafted Rasheer Fleming and Kaman Maluak, if I pronounced that right. They're going to have really nice center depth is what I'm seeing here. Mark Williams, Nick Richards, and Kaman Maluak. I'm excited to see how Jalen Green and Devin Booker work together. I mean, it could be extremely, really, really interesting. So I think their starting lineup is going to look something like, we'll put Devin Booker at the 1, Jalen Green at the 2, Dillon Brooks at the 3. Oh my god. Okay, and then they'll have Nick Richards. Yeah, Nick Richards at the 4, Mark Williams at the 5. I predict them to win somewhere around in the mid-30s. Up next at the 12th seed in the West, I have the Sacramento Kings. Now, the Sacramento Kings last season actually went 40-42. They were the 9th seed in the West, and they were in the play-in tournament, in which they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, they didn't really stand a chance. Their lineup is about the exact same as it was last year. Brought in Dennis Schroeder, Dario Saric, and they actually drafted Nick Clifford and Maxime Renaud. Nick Clifford looked really good in the Summer League. He actually looked really, really good. That's an amazing pick for the Kings. And Maxime Renaud also looked really good for the Kings, which is great. They actually hit on 2 draft picks. Well, we don't know if they hit yet, but in the Summer League they did. But they actually hit on some draft picks for once in a really long time. So basically all they added was Dennis Schroeder. Malik Monk is on the trade block. We're going to see how that will work out. Sabonis was just a machine last year. He had like 1 million triple-doubles. But DeMar DeRozan is getting older. I mean, he's not terrible yet. Zach LaVine's still great with his three-point shooting and all that stuff. Yeah, I predict that they'll be somewhere around the mid-30s, high 30s range. Next up, we have the Portland Trail Blazers at the 11th seed in the Western Conference. Last season, they went 36-46, didn't make the playoffs, of course, as the 12th seed, as they were last year. This would only move them up one spot. Moving up one spot is a lot in the Western Conference, all right? They have an amazing young team. I think they can do great. Just, if they were in the Eastern Conference, they're making playoffs every year. Oh, how could I forget? Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard came back. That's just incredible. I mean, he's going to be out. He tore his Achilles. He's going to be out for most of next season, maybe even all of next season. Denny Avdia, last year, was looking like an all-star. Shaden Sharp, you got to love the guy. He has an insane vertical, great playmaking, great shooting and all that. Tumani Kamara, defensive demon. Scoot Henderson, I really hope he takes a jump. Oh, they have Drew Holiday too. Great guard depth they have here. Donovan Clingan, walking mountain right there. They also got Blake Wesley from Spurs. And with the 16th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies drafted Yang Hansen Yang. But then they traded it to the Portland Trail Blazers, and they gave the Trail Blazers this 7', 24.5 Yang Hansen. He was looking amazing in the summer league, just looking like a great center, great competent center. Another young player for the Trail Blazers. They also got Caleb Love. I honestly think they could be a really good team if they were just like not in the Western Conference. So yeah, I have them at the 11th seed, just barely missing out on playoffs. Up next at the 10th seed, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. They went 48-34 last season, made it to the first round of the playoffs where they got swept by OKC, who went on to win the championship. I actually remember that first game of the playoffs. It was on Easter, and I'll put the score up on the screen. They actually made the first moves of the offseason. They traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They also got Ty Jerome from the Cavs, picked him up out of free agency. But hopefully next season, Ja Morant will not be hurt. Hopefully Ja Morant will play at least 60 games. At least 60. I just want to see Ja Morant be the all-star that he was in 2022. Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie Pippen. I think they'll win 40 games. We'll go 41 to 43 range. We'll go somewhere around there. Up next in the West, I have the Golden State Warriors with the 9th seed. Last season, they went 48-34. They won the play-in tournament. They made it into the playoffs after beating the Grizzlies. And they beat the Rockets in 7 in the first round. In 7, the Rockets could have won that. The Rockets almost came back. It was 1-3. They brought it to game 7. Then they went on to lose in the second round to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5. Now, the Warriors have had one of the most disappointing off seasons they've honestly had the worst off season of any team in the NBA in a while. They have made 0 moves, 0 signings. All I did was draft a few randoms from the draft. You know, Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, they're not getting any younger. They're just going to continue to downgrade the further they get into their careers. Curry can't save them this season. And they still have the whole Jonathan Kuminga situation going on, so they haven't been able to sign anybody else because apparently that's what their GM wants to do. They don't want to sign anybody else until the Jonathan Kuminga situation is resolved. So I think that's why they've refrained from making any moves. Only bit of hope I have for this team next season is Stephen Curry and Quinn Post. Yeah, there's not much going for this team next season. Aiden, the Warriors are bums. I'll see you on December 4th, boy. Next up on the list with the 8th seed in the Western Conference, I have the Dallas Mavericks. Now, as we all know, they've drafted Cooper Flagg. They got D'Angelo Russell. The only reason I have them this low in the Western Conference is because for most of next season, Kyrie Irving is not going to be playing. He's been out with that ACL tear since March, so he's not going to be out for the entire season, but definitely most of the first half. But with the addition of Cooper Flagg, I see them being like a top team, and when they're fully healthy, honestly, the number 2 team in the West. They can honestly make it to second seed. I see that happening. Last season, they went 39-43. They won the first leg of the play-in tournament, and then they lost in the second leg to the Memphis Grizzlies. Anthony Davis played amazing in those games for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic is no longer part of the team. It's Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Cooper Flagg now. So we'll see how that works out next season. I'm predicting them at the 8th seed. Next up on the list, I have the Los Angeles Clippers at the 7th seed. Last season, they went 50-32. And they lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Denver Nuggets in 7 games. Now, honestly, they could have won that series. Most definitely, they could have won that. If Aaron Gordon didn't have those 2 crazy buzzer beaters, they could have won and went to the second round. James Harden and Kawhi Leonard looked absolutely amazing last season, but Kawhi Leonard does have that whole money ordeal going on, so we'll see how that has to play out. They brought back Chris Paul. They had an amazing offseason, honestly. They got Brook Lopez. They got John Collins. They got Bradley Beal. Their guard rotation, if this was 2019, their guard rotation would be elite. Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul. Now if that is an amazing point guard lineup, I don't know what is. But they are all old. This is a really old team, honestly, but they can do good. They can do big things. And their center rotation being Brook Lopez and Ivica Zubac, that isn't that bad. That's a really good center depth. And I think they'll be the 7th seed next season. We'll have to see how that works out. Next up on the list with the 6th seed in the Western Conference, I have the San Antonio Spurs. They have Victor Wembanyama. He's a 7'9" demigod. You can't stop him. He's been training with Monks. He's been training with Hakeem Olajuwon, Kevin Garnett. He's literally just getting training from all the best. He's gonna be unstoppable. MVP season, maybe. Defensive Player of the Year, most likely. He would have won it last year if he wasn't injured. Last season they went 38-48. They did have a losing season. They didn't make playoffs at all, but they were facing a lot of injuries. They brought in De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline last season. That was a really good acquisition for them. Nice point guard. They brought in Luke Cornett and Kelly Olynyk for the big depth. In the draft, they got Dylan Harper and they got Carter Bryant, which are most likely going to be rotational pieces for them next season, especially Dylan Harper. But is any team really going to lose with a healthy Victor Wembanyama? I don't think so. Next up in the Western Conference, I have the Los Angeles Lakers at the 5th seed. Last season they went 15-32. They lost to the Timberwolves in the first round in 5. This offseason they have made some pretty nice acquisitions. They brought in DeAndre Ayton. They finally addressed their center issue. They got Jake LaRavia from the Kings. He's a pretty nice shooter. They brought in Marcus Smart for that defense. Former Defensive Player of the Year right there. And how could I forget the man himself, one of the greatest of all time, the GOAT, Bronny James. They also have Luka Doncic. I guess you could say they also have LeBron. And I predict them at the 5th seed for next season. Next up on the list at the 4th seed, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last season they made it to the Western Conference Finals after going 49-33. They were the 6th seed in the Western Conference last year. I have them moving up 2 spots to the 4th seed. They beat the Lakers in the first round, as I just mentioned, and they beat the Warriors in the second round, also in 5. And then they went on to lose in 5 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They honestly haven't done many moves this offseason, but Anthony Edwards, he's just going to keep getting better. And Yoan Behringer, the guy that just drafted with the 17th pick, the guy that drafted, he did really good in the summer league. He had some great defensive stats. He put up 7 blocks. So we'll see how he gets to progress. It's still about the same core, but I honestly think they can do better this season. Next up with the 3rd seed in the Western Conference, I have the Denver Nuggets. Last season they went 50-32. They won in the first round in 7 against the Clippers. Then in the second round they lost to OKC. In 7, actually. That was a really close series. If the Nuggets won that, would have changed everything. But the Nuggets, of course, have the greatest basketball player right now, Nikola Jokic, who's probably on his way to win another MVP. This offseason, they actually traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cameron Johnson. That's an amazing trade. Okay, they brought Cam Johnson. They got Jonas Valanciunas. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. They brought back Bruce Brown. And they got Kessler Edwards from the Mavericks. And the Nuggets are honestly looking real scary. They were the 4th seed in the Western Conference last season. I've been moving up 1 spot to the 3rd. They definitely got better. One of the better off-season teams. With the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, I have the Houston Rockets. Now they were the 2nd seed last year. They went 52-30. They had a really great team, and then they went on to lose in the first round to the Golden State Warriors in 7. This offseason, they probably made one of the biggest moves. They traded Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks to the Phoenix Suns for Kevin Durant. So the Houston Rockets have Alperen Şengün, Kevin Durant, Fred VanVleet. They got Clint Capella. They got Dorian Finney-Smith. They got Josh Okogie. The Rockets are going to be a really good team next season with the addition of Kevin Durant. Now, he's someone who can actually perform in the playoffs, unlike Jalen Green. He honestly sold them last playoffs. He's the reason why they didn't make it to the second round. Alperen Şengün has been doing absolutely incredible in the Eurobasket this offseason. And next season I see him coming back even better than before. And with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, you already know who it is. The Oklahoma City Thunder. They could honestly win a back-to-back championship. They made no moves this offseason, I think they just got someone and then instantly waived him because, what else could you really add to this incredible team who just won a championship? It wasn't an incredible finals, though. Give kudos to the Pacers. And the rookie they drafted this year, actually, Thomas Sorber from Georgetown, he tore his ACL. Now, this is like the exact same situation that happened to Nikola Topic last season, who's also drafted by OKC, and this is just incredibly unlucky for them. They're both their first round draft picks in the last 2 years have had torn ACLs and missed the entire season. I mean, Thomas Sorber could honestly get that Nikola Topic ring. He could win a ring without playing a single game for OKC. And you know what? They're going 82-0. Why not?